Alright, you battlers, we are back at it with another Pokemon Go PvP tournament shoutcasting. So first off, let's give a huge shout out to TriplewingUK. So this shoutcast is going to be over Triple Wings matches. There were a total of 13 participants for this Go Stadium lobby with a total of 4 rounds. However, technically we're going to be starting the casting on round 2 because Triple Wing ended up taking a bye for round 1. But that's not what's important, right? Round 2, 3, and 4, he went undefeated. So I'm going to be pretty excited for this one. We should see some saucy plays. I got the feels from Triple Wing's shoutcast submission because in the About Me section, he stated, "Hi, my name is Mark. I'm 34 from the UK. I work as a full-time welder. I'm also a father to a 10-year-old son who's also a battler." Yes! Psionic, I know you're seeing this. We are the dads that PvP. According to Triple Wing's submission as well, he did use a premeditated strategy, which he called Galaxy Brain. In a nutshell, for a basic description, in his words, quote, "Basically, I tried to figure out what I would lead against with my team with what they had picked and then counter that accordingly. Also, if I lost the lead, I would try really hard to win it back. Such as game 1 and match 3 against RCM Justice. I used a Mawile and Cresselia core in every game with Poliwrath or Primeape. I didn't use Steelix or AWAC once." Close quote. So overall, you know, with the goals and the behavior behind the strategy that Triple Wing presents, I think it's pretty generic. I think everyone pretty much does the same thing, right? Win the lead. If you don't, try and recover from not winning the lead. I think what's really notable about his strategy is he says, again, quote, "I used a Mawile and Cresselia core in every game with Poliwrath or Primeape. I didn't use Steelix or AWAC once." Again, close quote. So I think, you know, he defines his strategy between the synergy as Cresselia and Mawile as picks, right? Because Cresselia is going to shut down the fighters. Then Mawile's there to back it up. If Cresselia ends up getting shut down by a Ghosty, then you got Mawile to come in and do the bite action, as well as, you know, of course, having Poliwrath and or Primeape to back them up as well. Also, what's notable is Triple Wing has never had any kind of one-on-one PvP coaching. The resources that Triple Wing states he used to prepare himself for the tournament was pvpoke.com, pokebattler.com, local/private PvP group/chat, YouTube PvP content creators, Twitch PvP streamers, as well as the Go Stadium Discord server. And I think as well for his MVP falls perfectly in line with this Galaxy Brain strategy. He states his MVP Pokemon as Cresselia, and the reason for that is because of the tankiness, taking Crunch and Earthquake from Steelix and then winning. So using it as a tank, right? Because it's so tanky, it can kind of be another shield. All right, here, so Triple Wing. Let's look at the team. For Triple Wing's team, we have Alola Marowak, Mawile, Cresselia, Poliwrath, Steelix, and then Primeape. Now, I like how he has his options open between Poliwrath as well as Primeape, but then having, you know, a solid ghost pick for Alola Marowak with the Shadow Ball threat. Then Steelix is just busted as well as the Mawile. And then his MVP, Cresselia. All right, and our first opponent here for Battle 1, I guess, Round 2, but Battle 1, we have Dinoxin? I'm not sure. I think it's Dinoxin. But Dinoxin brought for their team Claydol, Alola Marowak, Poliwrath, Steelix, Drifloon, and then Frostlass. Very interesting team compositions between the both of them. Obviously, you know, a pair we see almost all the time in Sinister is Poliwrath and Steelix on the team. I think it's almost a given. Let's go ahead and just get another battle now. All right, what do we see for the Open? Okay, Poliwrath v Poliwrath. We know that one's shiny, so it's not going to have any legacy moves. Okay, this is interesting as well to note as too. So Triple Wing for his Poliwrath, Bubble, Dynamic Punch, and then Power Up Punch. No Ice Punch, no Hydro Pump. Very interesting strategy. Now that opposing Poliwrath lands the D Punch as well. Triple Wing, I think here is going to go as that's probably what I would have done at that point as well, is to go for the Power Up Punch for the bait, which lands successfully. Now, what the opposing Poliwrath is probably, I mean, yeah, it's a D Punch, but now Triple Wing is going to be able to get off another Power Up Punch. Was it really worth it to use a shield against the opposing Poliwrath for the Open? Potentially, because I think he wants to see what Pokemon comes out next before it actually comes out. Now, he's double powered up with the double power up punches, and he lands the D punch against the Drifloon. Obviously, it's still going to do next to nothing, but it is, you know, it's considerable damage. Now, the Drifloon could potentially be getting off a Shadow Ball. It is going to be an Ominous Wind. GG's, he actually ends up swapping out from that matchup, but the Drifloon is still there, okay? He swapped into the Steelix. Now, Triple Wing is going to be going straight for the Power Up Punch against the Steelix. Now, the question at this point in the battle is, do I shield for an Earthquake threat, or is it Crunch? Which, obviously, you know, it was Crunch. But you're able to get off another Power Up Punch against the Steelix. They actually end up using a shield. So it looks like Triple Wing does a quick swap. Now, this is what he was talking about. Look at that. Earthquake does virtually not even half damage to the Cresselia. The Cresselia is still healthy, right? Cresselia is still good to go and ready for action. And it takes a crunch as well. And that's going to be GG's to the Steelix. The Drifloon is going to be coming in, has still survived, but you got this Aurora Beam ready to go with your MVP Cresselia. GG's game 1. Wow, man. Okay, they open up with the Poliwrath. You opened up with the Mawile. They swapped out, which was probably a pretty questionable play in that matchup. Poliwrath should be able to win categorically against the Mawile, but they swap into the Steelix. Obviously, you know, at this point, if you brought the Primeape or the Poliwrath, swap into that versus the Steelix to eliminate the Steelix threat. What did he go for before? I think a Power-Up Punch. Now he should be going for another one. Yeah, he lands another Power-Up Punch. So he's getting some boost going. This could be an Earthquake. He shields. I probably would have shielded there as well, too. If you count your fast moves right, you're going to know that that threat is, you know, potentially going to be Earthquake. Now, here's the matchup that he sacrifices with not running Ice Punch or Hydro Pump on his Poliwrath, right? He's only got the Power-Up Punch and the Dynamic Punch, which Drifloon's going to essentially laugh it off. But Triple Wing, look at the synergy in the team composition. Even taking the Shadow Ball, this Mawile is going to be able to eliminate the Drifloon threat. The Poliwrath is left with the 2 shields, which might be, you know, fairly rough to overcome. No, not really. You got the Cresselia. We should see a D-Punch coming at this time. I wouldn't shield either. Let them use their energy against that Poliwrath in that matchup. I think it was wise to save the shield, you know, potentially in case of a Hydro Pump. You know, you never know what the opposing Poliwrath is going to be running unless you see both moves. But this dude, Cresselia, what a beast. That game 1, though. Next opponent. All right, the next opponent Triple Wing faced up against is Zachary the Zebra. Dusclops, Alola Marowak, Poliwrath, Steelix, Lucario, and then Lugia. Now I'm excited to see how these games go because Zachary the Zebra is definitely well equipped with that team composition to be able to handle the Cresselia threat. But Triple Wing said he used the Cresselia and Mawile synergy in every single game. All right, and here we go. They open Steelix. We open up with the Cresselia. Not the most ideal matchup, especially towards the beginning of the match. However, Cresselia can tank some hits from the Steelix, right? Look at that crunch. The crunch didn't even get Cresselia down to half health, even being super effective. Cresselia is a tank. Cresselia is a beast. At this point, this should be just another crunch. I'd be surprised if it was an Earthquake. Okay, GG's, it's going to be another crunch. I think Triple Wing... Oh, okay, we see a swap. I was actually predicting he would just stay in with the matchup versus the Steelix, but it looks like he ends up opting to swap into the Poliwrath, which is not very good news at all at this point, because we know his Poliwrath does not run Ice Punch or even Hydro Pump. It runs Bubble, Power-Up Punch, and then Dynamic Punch. So this is another matchup that the Poliwrath is going to sacrifice against. Ideally, I think, you know, in this scenario, he just is going to be opting to go for the Bubble damage. There'd be no reason to try and go for a Dynamic Punch. Just keep spamming that Power-Up Punch to manipulate the match timer. So hopefully you can... No, it looks like he's actually not swapping out. He's going to let the Lugia use its energy. He's going to keep a shield. Does he come back in with the Cresselia? Okay, he does. So it comes back in with the Cresselia to put on the pressure with the Aurora Beam against the Lugia. It lands successfully, which I think at this point in these matchups was ideal. Right now, I do believe that Zachary the Zebra's Steelix is going to have enough energy for a Earthquake. Maybe. No, yeah, it probably did, but it went for the Shield Bait Crunch, and it actually... That's the end of game 1. GG's. Let's go to game 2. So game 1 was pretty rough. It's kind of hard to recover from losing a lead that hard in that matchup. We see a Mawile open against a Dusclops open, so obviously they're going to swap out as quick as possible. They end up opting for the Steelix, and we're going to be coming out with the Primeape. Now, I love Primeape for the Sinister meta. I think he's still very underrated. In my local lobby, my remote local lobby, I actually finally lost a round. I lost round 4, and it's because my opponent utilized Primeape very well. I would dare to say better than I do. But anyways, he's going to be spamming these cross chops, putting on more and more pressure as much as possible against the Steelix. We are sitting at 1-to-1 shields with 3-to-2 Pokemon, okay? We should be going for the Night Slash at this point. We do see the Night Slash. We saw a shield. Now, if that was a questionable shield or not, it's kind of rough to say at this point. But obviously, he swaps back in with the Mawile. He still has a shield. He actually opts to use a fire... I'm sorry, not a Fire Punch. He uses a shield. against the Fire Punch. He's going to go for a Power Up Punch. It looks like he just wants to do as much bite damage as quickly as possible against Dusclops in this matchup. I do think that's a good way to handle that threat, to kind of mellow it down a bit. This is another Fire Punch. I believe it is going to KO the Mawile, so that's going to be GG's to Mawile, and we should see a Shadow Punch land as well. We actually don't. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see a Shadow Punch, but it's Cresselia versus Poliwrath at this point, so this is not going to be ideal for Zachary the Zebra. This game is very much leaning towards going to game 3, obviously, or this round is, because Cresselia is going to pretty much dominate this matchup. I mean, the Poliwrath's going to have to do what? Get 2 power-up punches in and then a Hydro Pump, I believe, to win this matchup, potentially. I don't know. I really don't know the numbers on that. GG's game 2. Let's go to game 3. Game 3 here, we see the Poliwrath Open versus the Alolan Marowak Open, which is kind of weird, especially, you know, since you're not going to be running the Ice Punch or the Hydro Pump, but they actually end up to swap out. They want to swap out from that matchup, and they go in for their Dusclops, which I think obviously was the right choice, but TriplewingUK utilizes this Mawile very, very well. I think he swaps into it, into the Dusclops. He's trying to get rid of the Dusclops threat. That's really, I think that's a good way to, you know, extinguish the Dusclops fire. Dusclops is such a beast. Not only is he a safe switch, but he has great coverage with Shadow Punch and Fire Punch against the meta as a whole. He's very comprehensive. I think he might very well be one of the definitive Pokemon of the Sinister Cup. Just my opinion. But we see them swap out to the Alolan Marowak, which he swaps out because you note that Alolan Marowak has Fire Spin. It's going to be dealing the super effective damage against Mawile, being part Steel typing. He's going for Power Up Punch? Yeah, he's going for the Power Up Punch. He wants to do the quick bubble damage. Now this could, I believe, it could be Shadow Ball at this point. No, it's just another Bone Club. Okay, that's not a huge deal. Triple Wings Poliwrath is able to get off another Power Up Punch, so the bubble damage is going to be huge at this point against the Steelix. He should be able to get in. Oh, I believe he's probably trying to go for the D-Punch, the Dynamic Punch for the KO. I probably would have just gone for Power Up Punch, but he was undefeated. I'm not, so I'm not going to question the play. Now he comes in with the Mawile to go straight for the Power Up Punch against the Steelix. I think that was also still the right play. This Steelix has a lot of energy built up, and it has a shield. It's going to be able to spam the Crunch. He says he won. He was undefeated. That's what the results were. So this could be very, very close. We should see. Ooh, is it going to be double Crunch? Can you tank double? Oh, they opt to go for the Earthquake. You know, now that I think about it, I probably would have tried to go for double Crunch. Could they have won with double Crunch? And Triple Wing's final round for his victory in the Go Stadium Celadon 16 lobby is up against RCM Justice 21. Looking at their team here, they brought Bastiodon, Steelix, Alolan Marowak, Drifblim, Poliwrath, and then Gardevoir. Comprehensively, I think this is going to be a much more threatening team composition for Triple Wing's strategy, but we know Triple Wing were undefeated, so let's find out what deeper strategies and what clutch plays Triple Wing used to give him victory in this Go Stadium lobby. Hold that thought. Remember, Triple Wing's Poliwrath has Bubble, Power Up Punch, and Dynamic Punch. If RCM Justice tries to cheese Triple Wing UK for the victory, his Poliwrath's got a couple tricks up his sleeve. Is that the play we're gonna see? Okay, so game 1 here, we have a Cresselia Open versus a Hex, Alolan Marowak. This is really not going to be an ideal matchup for Triple Wing. I would either use a shield at this point. Okay, oof, he got the bait. That's really not a good start, especially after losing the lead. He goes for an Aurora Beam, which he actually does get a shield, so I think that gives him more leeway at this point for the rest of this round. I think that's what he wanted to see happen. Now, the Shadow Ball lands against the Poliwrath. At this point, I think Triple Wing UK is not too worried about that. He's going to be going for the Power Up Punch. Now, because Triple Wing has not seen RCM Justice 21's other team picks, you know, he's just using the Power Punch. He's going to hide the fact that he also has the Dynamic Punch. He gets a powered up Dynamic Punch off against the opposing Poliwrath, does so much damage, brings him to almost even health. And then look at this. That was the Galaxy Brain play I was looking for. From the Poliwrath matchup, he swaps into Cresselia. Now this Alolan Marowak can come back out and potentially get off a Shadow Ball. Okay, interesting. He actually opts to swap in for the Steelix, and Triple Wing UK knows with his Galaxy Brain strategy that Cresselia is going to be able to tank a Crunch or an Earthquake in this matchup. So he's just going to be putting out, you know, the confusion damage, even though it's not very effective. He's going to be able to get off an Aurora Beam against the Steelix in this matchup. Triple Wing UK has played this very well. I'm actually very impressed. by the gameplay and the depth in your thought behind your plays, especially with your movesets. I'm a huge fan of you utilizing Poliwrath with Bubble, Dynamic Punch, and Power Up Punch. For the next round here, Poliwrath versus Poliwrath. Now, kind of mind games here, right? Galaxy Brain mind games, because the opposing Poliwrath, I'm pretty sure, is going to be running the standard Bubble, Dynamic Punch, and then Ice Punch, potentially. We really don't know for sure yet. Maybe not. Okay, because he went for a Power Up Punch. So that opposing Poliwrath either also has that Dynamic Punch and Power Up Punch, or potentially has the Hydro Pump. But we're able to land a D-Punch against that opposing Poliwrath for the open. It's gone. The Drifloon comes in. Should be going for the Power Up Punches just to boost yourself up a bit. Then he swaps out. I think that was a very good swap. Is very well timed. The Ominous Wind is going to land against the Mawile, but that's not such a huge deal. Mawile is going to get the Power Up Punch bite damage rolling against the Steelix. You know, you got a lot of rolling combos between the Poliwrath and the Mawile. I really like that. I'm a huge fan of their synergy as well. The Steelix goes for the Crunch, which obviously was going to be bait in this matchup. I think honestly the Steelix should have just gone for the Earthquake. Don't play any games with the Crunch shield bait against the Mawile. You want to get that shield. Now the Poliwrath is so boosted at this point. The Drifloon's going to come right back in, and Poliwrath's really not in a good position, not in the best spot, especially because that Drifloon has double shields. And yeah, that's GG's. There's not much you can do there. But you still got this Mawile left with basically nothing, which takes the cake. And it looks like you guys went to round 3. Jeez. Okay, so we have, okay, I didn't even notice this before. That is a Mud Shot Poliwrath. So it's running Mud Shot, Power Up Punch, and then what? Hydro Pump, probably? This could be a Hydro Pump, I believe, at this point. If it's running Hydro Pump, no, it's a Power Up Punch. GG's. I think TriplewingUK might be trying to go for the play rough play. I'm really not sure at this point. It's kind of hard to say. Okay, he goes for the play rough at this point. We do see a shield. I think that was the right thing for RCM Justice 21 to do. It would be very foolish, you know, at that point in the position Triple Wing was in to try and shield bait with a Power Up Punch. That would have been nonsense. And it is a Mud Shot, Power Up Punch, Hydro Pump Poliwrath. You saw how much damage the powered up Hydro Pump did the Cresselia. That was no joke. It does lots of damage very, very quick. That is a lot of stinking damage. The Power Up Punch against Triple Wing's Poliwrath, not such a huge deal. We know they probably have Steelix. All we have left at this point is the Poliwrath with no shields against a Drifloon that has 1 shield, with no Ice Punch and no Hydro Pump. So, you know, based on your PvP head Galaxy Brain knowledge, you know that's going to be GG's for game 3. But for the match and for the tournament itself, at this point, TriplewingUK is victorious because he did take the best 2 out of 3 for this round, even though they went for game 3. So I don't know about you battlers, but I really enjoyed shoutcasting those matches. Those were very good matches with very good plays. I think it is safe to say TriplewingUK has mastered the Sinister Cup in his own way. He has a team composition that he knows works for him, and it ended up bringing him victory. He won his Go Stadium lobby. I mean, there were points, you know, during the matches and during your tournament where I really wish that Poliwrath had, you know, Ice Punch and Dynamic Punch. But you utilize that so well towards the beginning of your matches against your opponents, you know, with making them question your moveset or having something very unpredictable. I think in terms of being unpredictable, you executed perfectly. I definitely think that TriplewingUK deserves some love and shout outs in the comments. Even if you're on Twitter, give him a shout out. This was a massive success and a massive win. He did so well for that Sinister Cup. So well. Give him a shout out in the comments right now. Do it. That was so good. We're going to do a bongo roll just for TriplewingUK and that performance. Very well played. But GG's to the battles, and GG's to the video, GG's to the Celadon 16 Sinister Cup, and GG's to TriplewingUK, because this is all over. As always, if you enjoyed, subscribe if you feel my vibe, and power up the notification bell for all the PvP content. That is it for this shoutcasting. We will put up another shoutcast video for another tournament on Thursday for Sinister Cup. Battlers, take it one battle at a time, and have a good freaking day.